And we're back.
Oh my God, I swear to God, one day this won't get wet. Welcome to the Unorthodox Film Podcast, the show where, with our guests, we make recommendations for movies based on a variety of topics and genres. At the end of the episode, a title from the list is randomly chosen for fresh watch and a deeper discussion at the top of our next episode. I'm Bradford Clark, and with me is my co-host, Joseph Quick. Say hi, Joe.
What up, y'all?
And today we have with us Geoff George. He is a Detroit-based DP, works around here, Los Angeles. He's worked on such projects as the recently released Stealing Jokes. He has worked as a DP and second camera on some features like Batman and Superman, the Dawn of Justice, Bosch, the TV series, and Beverly Hills Cop 4. So thank you for joining us, Geoff. How you doing today?
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you here.
I'm excited, too. I like nerding out about film stuff.
So do we.
That's what we're here for.
I'm into it.
So today we are going to be taking a look at Matchstick Men, which was our choice last week. It was randomly selected with Melinda Bryce and our recommendations for films dealing with mental health. And then later we will be making our list of recommendations for movies that have time travel, some time traveling today.
Man.
So I'm looking forward to that discussion. So
exciting.
Yeah, I've been waiting to get to this genre. I've been waiting for a guest to pick it. Thanks, George.
Yeah.
Thank you, Geoff. That's awesome.
So, Geoff, as far as like your interest in movies, obviously you got to like them a little bit. What are some of the things you like to watch? What kind of turns you on to the whole idea of cinema?
Wow. Yeah. Where to begin, right? I mean, I guess like I grew up, my dad was very daring at showing me lots of, films that were definitely not, appropriate for my age, I guess, horror movies
Right.
and slasher movies and, but also not just that, like, art films and action blockbusters. I mean, on the one hand, I love film because I grew up when Jurassic Park came out in theaters and when Twister and Independence Day and all these, like, The Matrix and Fight Club and this kind of period in the 90s when films that were good were spectacle and they were popular, but they were also smart and interesting and well done. And, so on the
properly
one hand,
iconic stuff.
Really iconic stuff. And I'm honestly so grateful to have been, a kid during that kind of what I consider one of the peak periods of filmmaking, along with the 70s and some other micro eras and genres and stuff. But it was really a great time for filmmaking as a young, kid interested in pop culture and whatever. And that was so on the one hand, I love that kind of filmmaking. And then, my dad also showed me 2001: A Space Odyssey when I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, and I had no idea what was going on.
You had no idea.
Right,
There's no way.
But it was just
I was an adult and still wasn't sure what I was watching.
Well, I remember asking my dad, "What is this movie?" And he said, "It's kind of like a musical, because it was, but with like interesting visuals." Because he was thinking it's like classical music, and not that he wasn't recognizing that it was like a cool film, and that's why he was showing it to me. But it was his way of explaining it to a kid. But then that was the kind of movie, and also The Shining when I was a kid, that I saw maybe around that same time, where I was like, oh wow, like this is an art form, and there's somebody behind that camera, and you can be that person maybe, like. And then DVD came out, and that was just like a treasure trove. And that was honestly, I went to the University of Michigan for film school, but watching DVD special features was honestly my film school.
Yeah, same.
And, and the Terminator 2 special edition DVD I remember in particular because it had so much in-depth vignettes and little things about the making of the film, from the model making to the camera. I mean, I remember the Terminator 2 DVD had like a whole thing about Super 35 film format and what that actually was, and how they extracted the 4:3 TV version and the 2:39 theatrical version. And you're watching this as a kid. I mean, and then I just got sucked into that world. And
special features changed. As Blu-rays came out, I would love to support physical media, but for me, the incentive to buy the physical media was the special features that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And after a while, the vignettes started to just become your, top call sheet IDs promoting the video.
Exactly.
Like you weren't seeing the behind the scenes. You weren't seeing, the pre-pro or things with the shot list or the like for me, my biggest curiosity was always like green screen. Like that was new at the time, and so some of the behind the scenes that you saw were so
telling,
eye-opening. Yeah,
sure.
And now like the mystery is kind of gone because at least the ones that I've seen, they're a lot shorter. They're just not as in-depth or educational as they
feel
once were.
like overproduced and too short. Like they cut out all the good stuff.
Yeah, they're a little too glossy, and it's funny because like I have a large physical media collection now on 4K Blu-ray and other Blu-rays and stuff, and a lot of the best special features are the ones that were ported over from the 20-year-old DVDs.
Right.
But new physical media doesn't have the same level of care and craftsmanship that went into the design of the menus and the special features and stuff that the old the DVDs would have these crazy like interactive menus with Easter eggs,
or games you could play,
games and stuff, and now you're lucky, if a disc even has special features, but usually it's just static photograph menu,
right? And they would be themed, like if it was a mystery movie and you could hunt for clues that are in the movie, and then that opens up a alternate trailer or a whole nother 15-minute behind the scenes. Like, whoa, how did I find this?
Yeah,
one of them
I have to agree with you about the 90s being the pinnacle of because not only just for the big budget movies, but art house movies and stuff were getting decent budgets at that time in that decade. You know what I mean? There was just a plethora of new ideas being funded, and you don't really see that anymore. It's all
original ideas and original properties that weren't, a rehash of something, but even though every movie is a rehash of every other movie.
Sure,
we can talk about that too.
I would say that even Matchstick Men, as I was watching it, gave me like Paper Moon vibes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, cool.
They're not a 1-to-1 movie, but you've got a father and a young child and the con, right?
Yeah.
So I think was that Paper Moon? The old 60s, 70s movie?
I think so. It's been many years since I've seen that film. It kind of reminded me of Leon, the Professional.
That
was
Natalie Portman and
I can't remember his name.
I know.
Jean-Pierre something or another.
Gary Oldman's also.
Am I allowed to have my phone out?
Yes, absolutely.
Look up references.
I've got a whole laptop.
I'm good at watching. I've seen a lot of movies, but I'm not good at remembering every name and stuff. But
Jean Reno. And Gary Oldman. I always forget Gary Oldman's in that.
I just said that.
But yeah, I mean, they don't make, there are fewer films now, I feel like, that kind of capture that same spirit. But at the same time, contemporary filmmaking, it's changed so much from that era. And, I'm nostalgic for it, but there's a lot of great stuff happening in contemporary film as well,
I agree.
It's film, I just love every genre. And, I like watching older films, and sometimes I'm just in the mood for not even a good movie,
I totally agree with that sentiment.
There's a lot of times when I just want a bad movie.
I'd like to talk a guest at some point to come in and do like a list of trauma movies or something.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Just the gnarliest of gnarlies.
Dan said he'd come on and do that.
I'd love that. So we all watched Matchstick Men, which is a 2003 Ridley Scott directed film based on a book. Let's see, I think that's the title here. Eric Garcia was the author. Where's the name of the book? But anyways, it's a book about con men. And if you didn't end up watching the movie, I would skip ahead about 25 minutes or so, because we're going to talk about this heavily, and that will definitely include spoilers. And a movie like this, I really don't want to spoil. Like, I think it's a big part of the enjoyment is the reveal. So I think we'd all seen it before. It sounds like, Geoff, it's been some years. It was a while since
20 years.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I think I saw the film when it came out, probably on DVD.
Yeah. It was probably a Blockbuster rental for me, and it was right around the release.
It's in my collection somewhere,
Yeah. But yeah, it was great to revisit, actually, and I really loved it. And it's amazing, too, just as an aside, that, I mean, Ridley Scott's, body of work is just so crazy and huge, and it ranges so far from end to end on different genres and stuff. He's an impressive filmmaker.
He's one of my favorites, and I know that not everything he does is a win. And
Yeah.
I feel like we should all have that grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
You
Yeah.
know? But
You could even argue this was not a win necessarily, although
sure, it was definitely different in
Yeah.
the scope that he normally does. Like, I would say it's more.
Yeah, it wasn't a success.
I don't want to say
like
simple,
a lot of his art,
but
it was more subtle.
His ideas are more grandiose
Yeah.
usually. You know, creating
Yeah.
whole new worlds, and he lived in a world that we're familiar with. You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't a period piece, it wasn't an epic, it wasn't sci-fi, but
it was smart. It was well executed.
yeah, and like my recommendation of it was not like I didn't even think, oh, this is a Ridley Scott film. It was about his OCD and you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you recommended, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I loved that aspect of it. I think everybody, well, I do a little bit. I like stuff neat and tidy, but I'm not like that, obviously. But
Right.
It was interesting because it's hard to have a character like that the audience can identify with in a way. And there was something human about the way that he portrayed that, even though it was a little Nick Cage over the top with his tics and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was into it. I got into the character. I cared a lot.
It oddly wasn't distracting. Like, it happened enough to remind you and to set the pattern because it was important to the plot.
He really only went full Nick Cage like once or twice. Like at the pharmacy, he goes, "Hey, have you ever been dragged to the street until you pissed blood?"
Yeah,
so fun. I was like, "There it is."
Yes, that was a good one.
But I thought the strength in this movie was in the performances.
Yeah.
And I do think in the shot selections because it's, like we were saying, not a normal Ridley Scott movie where you're seeing things that are just like grand. Like he's, you got the big landscapes of like Kingdom of Heaven or the set pieces of Blade Runner and Legend. But
the cinematography choices for like showcasing his discomfort with even clean things.
There was, a lot of like the I guess like B-roll type shots of his house that you kept returning to subtly remind you because they were hints and clues to what was going on, and I thought effectively distracting from what is also happening. Like I feel like the cinematography and the editing played a part in conning us along with, because this time being that I watched it having known what was going on, I could see those things. I was like, oh my God, like they really are like cluing you in here.
Interesting.
That this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I thought
very subtle foreshadowing. Yeah, very effective.
But the three main leads with Alison Lohman, Nicolas Cage, and Sam Rockwell, I think they were all aces.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Rockwell's the best. I mean, the way he just throws lines, the way his expressions, his like screen presence is great.
His ability to embody a character, like you don't question that he was that scumbag. He was shitty Frank.
And he's so funny. And I thought he would balance. On the one hand, you would think putting him and Nick Cage in the same movie is like too much, but I thought he was actually a great balance with Nick Cage's character.
Yeah,
I think I mean, definitely the cinematography and the editing stood out in this film as being very adept. The mix of all that kind of those insert shots. They don't do insert shots like they did in the early 2000s. And by the way, this is another thing I thought about this movie, and I was like, this is kind of the last year of that like 95 to 2003 period when that film. It was like almost like it felt a little bittersweet almost watching that movie because I was like, oh man, like. This is the last moment when like this kind of like Hollywood aesthetic, cool, edgy, gritty, but somehow it's still, I don't know how to describe it really. But
it wasn't oversaturated. The colors were very muted. Yeah, it didn't jump out at you as like a forced like you're supposed to like this. It was more subtle and it just felt right.
Well, the lighting was fantastic, and I think the reflection, like it was actually in many ways it was almost like that house is such a set piece, and the way they made that place dynamic with the pool reflecting through the blinds, and it also I thought it was interesting. it felt like LA when the sun is really high and it's like hot, but the tonally, it was very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
but it still felt like LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was pretty cool that they could pull that off. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a color contrast kind of between Sam Rockwell's apartment, which was very warm and
warm,
filthy, and but kind of still that mid-century like looking LA architecture.
Yeah.
And then Nick Cage's was like clean and you know, cooler tones, almost like a bleach bypass look or something. But I don't think they did do bleach bypass. I think it was filter and color temperature.
I noticed the artful use of the color contrast in that first scene with the con at the dining table.
Oh,
when
yeah.
she opens the door and the outside is so overbearing to her. But then he runs outside the other way, and the front of the house is totally cool because now it's calm. And it's not, for some reason, him not being in control of
when
he's inside,
behind him.
he doesn't want outside air.
I also thought it was
but he's
wild.
fine when he's
all
outside.
like the little like flies flying.
That's what I saw too.
They were like all backlit. I was like, did they like open up like a jar of flies to like get these flies in the shot, or was that just like pure luck, like they were hatching or something right when they were shooting?
Yeah, who knows, man? But it was. I saw that as like more being in his head.
Yeah,
like he saw a few, and then he just was like, "They're everywhere."
Yeah. I think you're right.
Because
it
glowed up on him. He was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, and they got really prominent, and he was freaking out. Yeah,
it was artfully done though. It made you feel it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the plot of the movie, and again, you know, being that this was a rewatch for me, and I started to see the clues as they were going up. It's really interesting how the con itself develops throughout the entire film, where you very subtly see Sam Rockwell overhear something that, you know, like, I might have had a kid. Oh, okay. And then, like, it was happenstance that he knocked his pills out. Let's just say that. The fact that he needed new pills, that
was the end he was waiting for.
That was maybe the hole or something. Or was he waiting for a "you didn't take your pills today, did you" moment?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Because everything was set up. Like, everyone that you met in the film from that moment on was in some way connected to Sam Rockwell.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't, like, you're not in any way suspect of him. Because that was what I did notice on this watch. When I watched it the first time, I fell in love with Sam Rockwell. I do believe that was probably the first time, if not the first thing I saw him in, the first time he stood out to me.
Fair.
He's not actually in the movie a lot.
No.
Like, his actual screen time is less than Alison Lohman.
Yeah.
I didn't clock it, but you definitely he was gone for a while, then he'd come back for a very short bit, then he's gone for a while.
It was impactful.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so you never really think about it being him. And I thought that was just brilliant in the way that the movie got you to invest. Like, basically, you were Khan too.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I had forgotten the ending.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah. Like,
awesome.
I mean, I think I vaguely recalled that there was a twist, and I felt like that's where it was going a little bit. But yeah, no, it still kind of caught me off guard, actually. When it all started happening, I was like, oh, damn, that is clever, you know? Like,
yeah. Like, when, you know,
he wakes up in the fake hospital room. And
when she shows up and says that she ran away from home for the weekend, and then he was like, well, I got to go out.
Oh, yeah.
He knew, you know, Sam Rockwell knew that he was going to be heading out, so he sent her over there. Now she's going to be home alone. Now she can do the investigation, right? And then you've got with his flight was moved ahead. And she had just shown up. Like, everything was set in motion so well. And the only clue that the film even gave you that there could be a long con going on is when Franz went to him and was like, yeah, I got this job. And he's like, dude, I don't do long cons.
Yeah.
Right.
And just straight up told you that, you know, he doesn't do them. But that doesn't mean that
Sam does
Frank
it.
does it.
Yeah, that
right?
Frank doesn't do long cons. Yeah.
And that I thought that was it was very well done.
It is because his long con winds up being himself. Like, he gets him to con himself, kind of.
Right, because then, you know, he goes and sees the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is a plant and
gets
gives
all
him
the details.
Just relinquishes everything. So and it's interesting to hear that you had forgotten, because that's an interesting way to watch it, to be able to see it fresh again for the first time. So I'm glad to hear that it still works.
It did, yeah. I felt like it still worked, and it's funny because if you tried to make that movie today, people would be like, guys, like this, I don't know, like.
Yeah, and you got to think, like, was that also the thought at the time? Could the boardroom have been like, oh, this isn't going to work? And then, what choices were made in the film that made it work, as opposed to choices that could have been made that wouldn't have worked.
Right.
Like Alison Lohman was very convincing as
a 14-year-old.
As a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
It was her mannerisms, the way she spoke, the way she was very committed to it. And that sold, how someone who is so overwhelmed with his stress was able to just forget
completely disconnected from the world.
All things that all the safety parameters that allowed him to get to the point where he'd never been caught before, and like he just relinquishes it all to.
Yeah, that was a bit. Maybe that was one of the moment where I didn't get his willingness to give her the signature, card.
That one threw me off. That one threw me off right away.
Was it because who would?
Why would you do that?
Why would you ever do that? Yeah, I don't know. So.
But giving the doctor the code.
And giving the doctor
I'd never give my doctor the code.
Yeah. Well, he felt like the doctor was his only trusted confidant at that point. Yeah. I mean, it does rely on some suspension of disbelief, like every film, doesn't it?
Sure.
But it was a fun ride, I think.
So good.
And it was executed very well, And man, Sam Rockwell. I think he was in a film around that same time. That I love, actually, him in, which was probably the first film I saw him in, which was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
I love Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Which is so good. And yeah, that's maybe like another one that kind of descends into madness a little.
Oh, absolutely does. Yeah, it's about a game show host, or no, it's Chuck Lorre.
Yeah, the game show host.
Was he the host?
Dating game.
And he
was a spy.
He believed that he was a spy, or is he?
Yeah.
That his story is that he was a spy, and like that's the real life guy genuinely believed that. So whether or not he is or isn't, but that's the story of that. That's a fabulous movie.
That's funny that Sam Rockwell, he does seem to be a magnet for those kinds of roles a little bit, like
he plays out of his
adjacent
mind really
to
well.
them.
Oh yeah,
like he plays well in these movies with this kind of chaotic energy, I guess.
He
played
a very similar role recently in one of the one of the recent seasons of White Lotus.
Yeah, I saw him.
He pops in, and it's like, wow, you're still killer.
A little bit, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
he is out of control funny on like every level. He can hit any note you want him to.
Yeah,
he's like, because he's got that energy that Nick Cage has, but he's more controlled and contained.
And it's somehow more. It's like a little more casual, or I don't know how to say it exactly.
It's cool.
Have either of you seen Mr. Right?
It's a little more sly or something.
He did a movie with Anna Kendrick and Tim Roth.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And highly recommend.
Right, oh my! Like it's. I almost feel like it was written for him to be Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's just so good.
Hitman. He's a hitman. It's a romantic black comedy. And he's a hitman, and it's great. It's just, I don't want to give too much more away because it's very enjoyable.
It's step-by-step hilarity. It's just so funny, and it's kind of rom-commy, but it's not like
Yeah. I got to add it to my list. There's so many. Yeah,
there's so many. You never run out of movies to watch. And that's why we recommend them. So you guys have a whole lot to have on your plate.
As a dark comedy rom-com, it really hits every note. Like,
it is.
The soundtrack's great. The acting's. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of soundtrack,
that was the last thing I was bringing up. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just surprised to see Hans Zimmer's name. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be. I think it goes. It's one of those things where there are these certain like prolific composers for film that they've just done so much. You know, and maybe yes, everybody knows him from Interstellar or whatever, and like all these kind of works that he did that were really on their own brilliant pieces of music, and if they were released in 1789 he would be like Mozart or whatever. What I mean? But but that's like all of our favorite composers I think have done a lot of these movies where the score, it's not like a bad score. Obviously, it's really good, but it's not like necessarily.
It wasn't up front.
It wasn't up front.
It was very subtle.
It's driving the movie
it wasn't
forward.
groundbreaking,
It was
job.
good. It was well done. But it just, hey, everybody needs a job too, and I think Hans Zimmer's been around for a long time, so it's just great to see his name show up on a film. I think it's always fun,
I agree. It wasn't a groundbreaking score of any kind, but it fit perfectly. And then there were minimal needle drops at the perfect
And
times.
I really enjoyed the needle drops because it kind of gave it that it was usually Sinatra when they dropped it.
There was the
gave
core
it that
of
kind
the
of
era.
Mad Men feel, like he was a man of classic means. Like that's his moral standard was kind of like older, and
he felt inside. He felt like a cool, classic gentleman.
Yeah, right.
And, I mean, that's like the way he talked himself out of actually being a criminal. He's like, wow, they gave it to me. I never had violence. There was never violence.
Well, there was a lot of. There was a lot of good music in the film, actually, and it was fun to see Ridley Scott play in that world a little bit. I don't recall as many of his films having, songs in them and that are both diegetic and non-diegetic.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to think right now because it
was a bit more. He was leaning more towards his. Tony Scott, his brother's type of filmmaking in this film, maybe.
Same
and
with some
Scorsese
of the
a little bit.
Editing selections. There was
the editing was very punk rock. I got to say,
interesting. There were interesting transitions. There were a couple of squeezes and flips, and I was like,
there
was
some odd optical transitions that I hadn't seen I haven't seen anything like that for a really long time.
70s maybe.
And I was trying to think, at the time, would people have been like, "Oh, that's kind of cool," obviously it is a reference to wipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't
from
overused.
Films of that era, but it did feel a little. It didn't feel quite. It felt a little cheap. If there was anything about the editing, it was maybe my least favorite part. But I actually really liked some of the jump cuts and stuff during lines of dialogue that they would just skip forward, or some of the great scene where Sam Rockwell is calling Nick Cage and Nick Cage is cleaning the apartment and he's leaving the messages, and it's kind of the background track to this amazing sequence. I mean, that was brilliant.
It kind of gave you a little bit of that manic anxiety that Nick Cage is going through at that moment.
Yes,
I agree with you. It was very effective.
Yeah.
And I don't think the specialty transitions were in any way overdone, but I definitely saw them. I was like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
But on the last episode we watched Into the Wild.
Oh, okay.
And have you seen that?
No.
So it's a journal, more or less, of an adventure of somebody who hitchhiked, and whatever, to Alaska.
Oh, I did see this. Was it Sean Penn?
Sean Penn directed it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did see it.
Emil Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch, yeah.
So, and the story structure is built to where you see his goal point in Alaska, and then his journey in Alaska, and then flashing back to what got him there.
Yeah.
And in doing so, because it was an introspective narrative, there was a lot of moving time forward, and the amount of dissolves in that, I've never seen a feature film with as many dissolves.
Wow, interesting.
Just because it was like a long montage with vignette stories. And so you'd get dissolves of like some nature, river, animals, and then some voiceover narrative from his sister, and then you'd go into him, and it was just it was noticeable. Like, it was a noticeable amount of dissolves.
Very artfully done, though.
It
wasn't overwhelming,
but it was perfect for the delivery of that message.
Yes.
But I bring it up because that was a noticeable heavy use, whereas in this, it wasn't like the whole motif of Matchstick Men was squeeze and then box out, and like the old TV wipes, Really, I mean, the only person filmmaker that I can say that successfully got away with that is George Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. And now it's like every time I see a wipe, I just think of Star Wars.
Every time.
It's almost become connected to him in a way that, or to that, world of films.
Because they adapted it. Even in the newer product, it's
cool. I will say, when you see it in a contemporary Star Wars film, I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it's part of that type of storytelling.
Part of the nostalgia,
it's on theme.
Speaking of nostalgia, I'm excited for Spaceballs too.
Oh yeah, well,
Space movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Spinal Tap too. So.
Oh God,
hell
yes.
yeah, that too. Yeah.
God, yes.
Speaking
Yes,
of parody
that's
movies,
coming out.
also The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. I guess they are making a huge comeback, or at
Yeah.
least an attempt. We'll see how they do in box office.
It's funny
see. I'm there for it.
We talk about like, if they only made films like such and such of an era, and it's like, again, we're still missing it a little bit. It's like, can we come up with something different other than Naked Gun or Spinal Tap or Spaceballs or something? But it is kind of fun to see that there has been a little bit of a comeback of this kind of, there was a lot of parody films in the early 2000s and late 90s and early 2000s, and then it got to a point where people
got
were
saturated.
Like, that's stupid. You know, like we're
one
done.
summer you had like epic movie, pirate movie.
It was ridiculous. It was like
can I go see a real movie this summer? What's going on?
Kind of seeing a pattern. It was because they were kind of birthed in the late 60s, early 70s. Kind of faded out in the 80s, came back in the late 90s.
Now it's on and off
another 30
again.
years.
Another Scary Movie's in production right now as well.
Oh, there you go.
So
there you go.
It's the next 2 years we're going to be having our fill of them. Well, before we move on to our list, is there anything else that either of you have to say about Matchstick Men?
No, I don't think so. There's a lot I could say.
Yeah,
it was really good. I think it's worth
recommendation.
worth a revisit for sure, especially if you like Ridley Scott's films. And it's Nick Cage, Ridley Scott, Sam Rockwell. That right there is.
I would say arguably the peak Nick Cage. Like it was right on the cusp of him
Before
losing
he went
all
off the
control.
deep end.
Before he started
went
making
full
art
Nick
films
Cage.
and stuff. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, a lot of his newer stuff
Pre-National
has
Treasure.
been- Yeah, exactly. A lot of his newer films have been recommended to me. I've not seen Pig yet. I've not seen Mandy and Long Legs. So I know there's some out there that are supposedly really good. And I'll give them a chance.
Well, I thought he was great in some of this recent stuff. I mean, I really enjoyed
the
Pig
most recent stuff,
and I really enjoyed him in Long Legs. And part of it is leaning into his character acting and him as a personality. And I respect him because I think he's taking a chance on these lower budget movies when he doesn't really need to be, probably. So.
I heard a story that
maybe he spent too much money. Yeah,
it was either an acting coach or an acting teacher, but someone or an agent, someone early in his career had said something about him, like not being able to do whatever it is he wanted to do, but he told himself that he would just do the most ridiculous things and see if he can get away with it. And this goes actually all the way back to what was his earliest roles?
Raising Arizona.
Before that, Moonstruck. Is that the one with Cher?
Yeah, which he's great in.
And I forget who I think he channels like Gumby or something like that. Like he's made it a point to just
be ridiculous.
Weird inspirations for the centerpiece of his character. So it has been there from the beginning, and it was something because he was told he couldn't do it, so he was like, "Okay, but fuck you, I will."
Yeah.
So he has.
Well, Ghost Rider was ridiculous. So
Ghost Rider was ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous.
I can't
too ridiculous.
We need a revisit of that because that could be such a good movie, but
it could have been.
It was that.
Well, I just rewatched Face Off, which is just, it's amazing.
Epic.
So many levels. Yeah. And,
epic.
I still own that on VHS
nice.
and DVD.
Oh, cool.
Because I had to, upgrade.
But that's a triple threat, though. You got John Woo, Nick Cage, and John Travolta. And, one of the better identity swap concepts as far as the performances. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, it really is like they've learned each other's little tics and nuances.
I thought it still holds up today. They really captured each other, I thought.
And I think what's great about that is they're both individually iconic characters to have the opportunity to, Nick Cage doing John Travolta is wild.
Right, yeah.
And vice versa. Like they nailed it. It's believable.
Yeah.
And it was I remember at the time people were kind of like, this is, I don't know. And it still is like that. But then I was just like.
You just have to buy in.
I was transfixed, to be honest.
To buy in.
John Woo is the master of just like knowing especially these like chase sequences and stuff, like where to put the camera, what to cut to. Like they're very like no one does an action sequence like John Woo where like you really understand what's going on and like where the boat is. Yeah. And because action sequences, especially in films nowadays, are a
it's just
mess,
too much,
dude. It's what is going on here?
It's too much. Well,
and then you watch like Independence Day and Face Off, and you're like, I get speed. Like, you know exactly where the bus is. You know exactly what the fucking thing is doing. It's very clear. They're holding on certain shots here. They're doing quick cuts
Today, we are so afraid to linger on any one specific shot for too long. Like, they believe you have to cut every second or every 2 seconds in order to keep the energy of the film, and it's not true.
It's really not true, yeah. And also, I loved, I mean, maybe this is just because I was watching it on the 4K Blu-ray or whatever, but there are straight-up shots in that boat chase sequence and other parts of the film where you can just like see the other camera placements. Like you can just like literally see like a box with a hole in it where it's like this was the crash camera. But it doesn't matter. It's like it's going so fast and you're so, you know, your eye is somewhere else. But you're kind of like, you know,
and it was always there.
Like, I'm sure the 4K helped, but it's a rewatch. And
there was.
I've seen the movie 13 times, you know, or whatever.
What movie did we watch? We had my buddy Phil Baumhart, a local grip, on here, and he was like, "Oh, come on, if we can talk westerns." So I made him watch
Surf Ninjas.
Three Ninjas. I made him watch Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas. Yeah, the movie that came up with the Corey. Yeah,
that was So Phil was next, and so we did that, and his favorite part of the whole movie was when there's like some stuff being thrown out, and you can clearly see an apple box being tossed.
He's like, grip reference. Yeah.
Recently, in the last, I don't remember what year, in the last several years, but Evil Dead, first one, got a Blu-ray release, 4K Blu-ray release, and
I say 4-ray Blu-K.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you. But it came out that in one particular scene, you can see a C-stand that was like kind of tucked away, and like it's gone almost 40 plus years without that being noticed. It wasn't until the up-res and the remaster that like So
and sometimes they fix an error in a movie that they shouldn't have fixed. They should have just left.
You should. I think you should.
I'm trying to remember exactly.
Is it Gladiator has like a hydraulic? You can see when it's when what are they called? A chariot gets knocked over.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, it's always been there.
Yeah. There's and on the one hand, I'm all for. I'm not much of a revisionist filmmaker, but I'm all for like somebody going back and being like, well, there's a piece of equipment.
You can just clean that up. So I learned recently that Disney has an ongoing project for something like that. So all of their stuff that ends up on streaming.
Well, don't let them tamper with anything else because Disney will just go nuts and start erasing entire characters.
So for me, the line of revisionist is like, where are we okay with cleaning up, but not okay with re-editing and so forth.
As far as to not put some movies on the platform.
Right. Yeah. So or change I forget the acronym. Yeah. But Disney has an acronym for things, and it came up in a podcast I was listening to that was discussing Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
And when I watched it on VHS and then DVD, there were you could see in the hands, you always see the little shiny things. So Disney goes through and erases all those.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so like the mysticism and
even the puppet sticks, like
the Muppets, they move with the little, all
there's a hand up here doing this, and then
there's an acronym for it. It's something like Muppet removal. They have an acronym for it because it's an ongoing thing where they do things like that.
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary.
Well, I want both versions. I don't know. I want, that's why I like the 4K Star Wars projects and stuff. It's like, let me watch.
Wait, do you get do those offer the original?
No, not on official, but you can download. There's like community projects to reassemble or like film scans and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like that's what we kind of grew up with or whatever. And
Brad looks so disappointed right now.
What about the community projects? Or
no, about the fact that I just can't buy an official release of the movie
you can't buy it. The only official release of the old
It was like
original,
2001, I think, is the last time.
It was on DVD.
Yeah.
And it's like a Laserdisc like port.
Yeah.
You know, but you can buy the Laserdiscs and come over to my house and watch on my Laserdisc player.
Oh, okay. You have a Laserdisc player?
Oh yeah, I got a Betamax player. I got a lot of stuff.
Well, let's move on to our list today, guys. We're going to be talking about time travel films. What about time travel films brought the interest to you to want to talk about them today, Jeff?
Well, I was looking through your list, and it just kind of came up as one of those genres I've always loved. You know, I was looking on my shelf at what do I have up here. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, my film tastes really cover the gamut from foreign film and whatever to action, blockbuster, and stuff. So, but yeah, it was just fun, and I love sci-fi, and it's easy for me to talk about, I guess, and it opens up the door to a lot of interesting subject matter about. You know, about the idea. That's why people have written about time travel and stuff for years. I also think it's interesting that there are kind of like subgenres within time travel, and we can talk about some of those that for some of the films I selected, because you know, it could be debated about whether certain films even are a time travel movie.
So
same page,
I was telling Joe that my list is smaller. I mean, we only each need 4, but I usually come in with a list of like 14 titles, because I like to if a certain tone is already mentioned, I'd like to bring up a different tone or whatever. But there were some that I didn't include because I wasn't sure whether or not they would. So I don't know if there's any we can like openly say, but
we'll get into that.
Okay, so it just sounds like that's open for discussion. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So, and then as far as like the idea of time travel, the concept of time travel itself, how do you guys feel about like? You have some like I don't know if you're a Doctor Who fan, but I'm not that I'm against it.
Not a big fan, but I've
never really watched it. Right, so I'm not into the lore, but I know someone who is.
Watched a handful, yeah.
And they will like articulate time travel to like the nth degree. So there's this strong feeling about what is and isn't.
The mechanics of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's something that is paramount to the enjoyment of one of these stories, or do you think like a time travel film is like, you know, fuck it, let's just time travel?
Well, I mean, I think within the story,
as long as they follow their own rules.
Exactly. Yeah, as long as within the story it's not getting confused about itself, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I purposefully picked films on here that kind of run the gamut from it's never really explained how this works or whatever, all the way to, I would say, Doctor Who's maybe what I know about it is more on the extreme end of kind of how it works or whatever, or the rules around it. But, you know, that's any time travel movie. That's maybe one of the great flaws of time travel movies is that there's always going to be a flaw in the logic of the film, you know, because of the nature of the flaws around the logic around time travel and the grandfather paradox and like all that stuff or whatever. So, you know, there's... I think it's a suspension of disbelief, and
I'm cool with it.
And if it works for the story and it's compelling and it, you know, sure, maybe if you really start to peel apart the layers, it's like, well, there's this and that, and it's like, I mean, I guess so, you know. But did the movie work? Like, did you have a fucking good time watching the movie?
I don't think most movies are gonna hire a paradoxical scientist to come on staff and make sure the writing meets
maybe, yeah, right. Well, we can talk about that too.
All right, cool. All right, then, let's get into it. So, Jeff, we usually offer our guests the opportunity to start. Would you mind starting our list out today?
Well, I have a long list of stuff that I picked, and I knew you were going to ask me
one by one.
I knew you were going to ask me first, and so I bet you guys probably have this film, or maybe have this film on your list too. So I don't want to steal anyone's thunder.
That's okay.
But I was going to start off with what I consider kind of like. In my taste, you know, my taste of filmmaking, what I would consider kind of I don't want to say standard, but this is, you know, the most direct kind of time travel movie.
Okay.
That I can think of that I loved when I was, you know, getting into film and stuff, and that is 12 Monkeys by Terry Gilliam.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite, too. I've recommended it before on the show.
Great.
And, it is on my honorable mentions.
Was it on your honorable mentions? Yeah. Okay, cool, yeah.
Because I've brought it up before, I wanted to broaden my own.
Yeah,
but yes, one of my favorite, I would say almost quintessential.
Yeah, I would call it a quintessential kind of sci-fi time time travel film. Now, interestingly, it was loosely based on the French short film La Jetée, which is, that's a whole thing.
Have you had a chance to see it?
Which I love too, and it's it's really a fascinating film. It's composed mostly of still, shots and stuff. So, and it's different in a way. But the idea behind this idea of witnessing your own death and that, kind of sending you on this journey before you really know it's you,
right?
And sending you on a journey back to that point, into the future and back. And yeah, Terry Gilliam is just I love him so much as a filmmaker. He's got such creative vision, such immense flaws too that add
his
to the charm
to his own
honest,
aesthetics.
He has survived on a career of risk.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't not respect that. I mean, Brazil is one of my all-time favorite films ever.
I've yet to have an opportunity to bring it up yet.
I mean,
we haven't done a dystopian future. We need to do a dystopian future episode.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of time travel movies do deal with dystopian futures.
Right. It's on the list.
In fact, almost all of them do in a way, in some way, or ultimately result in a dystopian future or something. But,
there seems to be this overall message from some of the time travel films that if you fuck with it, it's gonna fuck things up, type of just like an overall overarching this is bad, don't do it. But we're here for the ride anyway.
We're here for the ride. 12 Monkeys, I rewatched it recently, and aside from its spectacular set pieces and costumes and lens choice and cinematography and camera movement and performances,
so much.
Where to begin? But the story itself, the kind of logic behind the time travel, the way it unravels throughout the film.
It leaves you clues.
It leaves you these little clues, these little morsels to grab along the way. You don't really know what to do with them or how they connect, and they start to connect. And I just thought, I've seen the film many times, but I thought it was very well done from a story standpoint of kind of leading you along this Gilliam-esque and confusing journey almost, because at moments it doesn't make sense. But rewatching the film multiple times, it really is fairly, from my perspective, logically sound.
It's straightforward, but the first time you watch it, you're as lost as Cole is.
Right.
And that's great. And then when you watch it on repeats, you have that. It's kind of like Fight Club is another movie like that, where you're first jumping through, you're like, oh, that was pretty gnarly. And then the second time, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Oh,
there's that.
Wait a minute.
There's this clue. And
it just elevates.
And the way they stack dialogue.
Yes.
And I love a film.
The soundtrack and the score of 12 Monkeys is
the
so
soundtrack
cool.
is great.
It is,
but
favorites.
Great film. So that would be one
so
of them.
good. It's been one of my favorite films since it come out. I was fairly young, so it's been very influential for me.
Cool. Yeah.
I fell in love with Terry Gilliam. That's when I found him, and then I found Brazil and all that afterwards, right? And just he's amazing.
Yeah, I was super into Monty Python first before I got into him as a filmmaker, because I think when I was younger I thought Holy Grail and stuff were funny.
Sure.
Which they still are.
Yeah, they are.
That hasn't changed.
But and then it kind of becomes this fascinating, it's really because of Monty Python, that I, got into Terry Gilliam's filmmaking to begin with, that led me down that path. And then I feel like because I thought Monty Python was funny when I was a kid, and then I love Terry Gilliam's films, his films are so different from other films from that era, the look of them, the style and the costume design and production design. And again, his crazy wide angle lenses that he gets really close to people and stuff. Not too many other filmmakers were doing that, and it suddenly made that form of filmmaking really accessible as a kid. If Monty Python was the pipeline to that, so it just stuck with me forever. And every time I do a wide angle close up, I think of that film or Brazil or something.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, Brad, would you like to go?
I was going to offer. I was going to offer. So I am going to start with a movie from my childhood that I enjoyed quite a bit, and I don't know whether or not it's ever had like a revisit or an enjoyment from, but that's Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, yes, I love Flight of the Navigator.
Choice,
So Flight of the Navigator is a story, and give me a minute to look it up, who's in it, because I think it was... that
was pretty influential for me when I was younger, too. Like,
but anyways...
I don't remember the kid's name.
I was so young, because that was from the 80s, so I was so young that it was like all I really... notice was like, hey, I'd like to be that kid. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to go in a spaceship.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and that's what I took from it as a kid. And recently, a couple years ago, I got Disney Plus, and it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me watch this again. Like, first off, and see
I've
if it's
rewatched
even
it several times
if it's
in my
even something
adulthood.
worth thinking about. And I enjoyed it again just as much as an adult. So a young kid is chasing his dog, and he ends up he falls or gets knocked out, but he basically wakes up in the future. Or the past, forget which.
In the future, 14 years in the future.
In the future, yeah.
And so he's missing forever, and his parents don't know where he's at, and so they presume him dead and gone and whatever. But he, meanwhile, is at this super secret government base where there's a UFO, and basically it's a buddy travel film about this UFO, which is sentient, taking him on an adventure.
Was abducted. And came back unaged 14 years later.
Yeah.
And it's got a young, I think it was Sarah Jessica Parker. It's like 16 or something in it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Paul Rubens is in it.
Paul Rubens, I do remember being in it.
Veronica Cartwright. Holy cow. Yep, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
But it's one of those movies like Joe and I have mentioned on the show in the past where nowadays youth viewing doesn't seem to get serious films made for them.
Right.
And
interesting.
It doesn't seem to placate you as a child. It wasn't. I'm not saying that there wasn't a fart joke or something in there, but overall, it wasn't built on immature humor. It was built on just the experiences of a child,
and the wonder, and
And you know,
and
how
it had
cool
a serious
would it be?
message about loss in life and how family
he was
deals
worried.
with that.
You know, he was trying to escape. So I think that's where he ended up on the UFO, because he was just trying to get away and find his parents and reconnect, to learn that he was, somehow fast forwarded into the future and seeing. I mean, there's that loss there. Like, how cool would it be? But also, how tragic would it be to miss out on?
Because his little brother was now twice his age.
Yeah. So
is that because he asks to travel somewhere, and then by the time
like a big type of thing? I don't recall. I don't remember if he made like a wish.
I don't remember
there's several scenes. There's this whole part where he's in the ship, and it's been a while since I watched it, probably 2 years
because
or so.
Relativity would say if he was like, oh, take me to your home planet, and then back 15 years would go, or 30 years would go by, and then the spaceship is just like, sorry,
in a beam of light, so
15 years have passed, don't know how to fix it.
Collateral damage, kid.
You asked me to take you to Clarkson, or whatever.
You didn't ask me about the repercussions of going to Clarkson.
Yeah. So I mean, to that question, I don't think that a lot of the paradoxical things of time travel were even really handled in this.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, it's alien technology.
He fell through a hole into the future and had to find. And I don't want to ruin it, but I also don't remember if he found his way home, like back in time. I think.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think there was some mysticism.
I don't quite remember the end, but maybe there was. Yeah. Well, you're right that there's not too much of that kind of. I mean, the other one, maybe just because it's similar, but I loved The Rocketeer when I was a kid.
We loved The Rocketeer.
And that was like another one of those that was kind of like smart but cool at the same time.
It's a well-made movie.
Yeah, it is
for kids. Like you've got.
There was a lot of
Timothy Dalton. You've got Paul Jennifer Connelly. Paul, what's his name? He played the mobster guy from Goodfellas. He's Paulie from Goodfellas.
Oh,
Sorvino.
From Goodfellas. Paul Sorvino.
Yeah, I mean it's a well-made movie.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot. The production design. And
we've brought up The Rocketeer several times.
Have you? Oh, yeah.
We are both like.
We won't rehash it then.
Oh man, amazing. So Joe, that takes us to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 1992's. Evil Dead 3, technically. Army of Darkness.
Oh, I
didn't
Army
even consider it.
I love it.
I'm so stupid.
Opening line: Ash is transported back to medieval days. That's fucking time travel.
Well, he falls through.
I own that film, and
ultimately he makes it back. So.
Yeah,
I was going through my collection, and I was like, which of these are time travel? And I was writing them down, and I skipped it, not because it's not a prominent part of this plot, but I'm glad that you brought it up.
Yeah,
it's one
man,
of my favorite films.
Yeah, that's why I put it up on my first one, because I want no one stealing this.
Yes, good. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Evil Dead is one of my most influential movies. Like
Yeah.
my uncle Gary gave it to me. We went on vacation to their house, and he's like, "You're sleeping in the basement." And he had all his like collectibles down there, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Watch this," and he put out a Betamax of Evil Dead, and I watched it all weekend on repeat.
Yeah.
Like I was hooked.
Yeah. Well, I think Army of Darkness is my favorite of the Evil Dead series, actually, personally. I know that's maybe an unpopular opinion, but
I would agree.
You would agree?
I would.
Yeah.
Yes, personally. Yeah.
I always like that
favorite.
film better than the first and second.
It's got everything. It's cheesy. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's personable. It's got
This
action.
is my boomstick.
Yeah.
It's right.
Remember
Let's
that?
get the hell out of here. I'll cut your gizzards out.
I have to agree with you that you had said you're not sure how everyone. I think the Evil Dead series as a whole, nobody has similar rankings. I think, or even ideas.
Yes,
I think it's
interesting,
a matter of like the order you saw them in, or
That is probably true. Yeah.
because they like Joe was saying, they each offer something different. The first one's a straight up.
I thought
horror
it was
movie.
the
Yeah.
sequel because I didn't
Yeah.
know of Evil Dead 2.
Well, it was the
It
sequel.
was technically the sequel.
Because I know
It's-
Evil Dead 2 is a prequel, yeah, but
No, Evil Dead 2 is a side alternate because it
says prequel. Right
I don't
here.
care what it says.
Okay.
Watch Evil.
I've seen them. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that like that was my exposure to them. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
My uncle gave me that, and then I went to like a church rummage sale and found Evil Dead or Army of
Evil
Darkness
Dead.
for $1.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
On
Oh,
VHS.
cool.
So I took
Yeah,
that
yeah.
home, and I wore that tape out.
Shop
you know?
smart. Shop S smart.
Shop That's right, yeah.
That's right.
It was, I got that and the first White Zombie album. So it was a good
Oh, wow.
it was
That's
a good $2
that was a
day.
good pickup.
Yeah, that's a great day.
Life-changing day.
Yeah, another film that kind of is pretty cool with its lens choice and stuff. I mean, they obviously Evil Dead series. In
Sam
general
Raimi's
does
always
a lot
had
of that, but
an interesting way to shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I honestly have no idea if he's reused DPs or not, but
Oh, that's a good question. I would imagine that those films may have the same or similar DP, or the DP,
no
and
We
this
can
could be
look it up.
completely made up, but
is
I know
something
because
that
they
the
have a
internet
close
can tell us.
relationship with the Coens, and I think they might have shared a DP at some point.
So coming up in Detroit in the film community here, you work with. I started my career during the old film incentive, and there were a lot of the old school crew from those days were on a lot of
no
those
kidding.
jobs. So one of the big stories that I hear often with some of there's a Grip and Electric team that I've worked with many times, Derry and Mark Strachan and his brother, and they were all on Crime Wave, which was a Sam Raimi film that was shot in Detroit, that was written by the Coen brothers, and it's a pretty bad movie. But it's really fun. It's cool, and there are a ton of scenes in old downtown Detroit when shit was looking hard, or whatever. And because I think it's maybe 80.
I'm gonna look that up.
It's early 80s. It's like 81 or 2.
You said Crime Wave?
Crime Wave. Check it out. Yeah, look up the year. Yeah, and weirdly written by the Coen brothers, and kind of this confusing, meandering type story, a little listless almost.
1985.
85, there you go. So,
The DP for Army of Darkness was Bill Pope.
Oh, well, Bill Pope is
okay. Well, there you
legendary.
go.
But look up Evil Dead, because I feel like maybe they switched DPs. By the time he was doing Army of Darkness, they were
Probably.
giving him money.
Yeah, if Bill Pope's there, unless he was still early Bill Pope. I don't know how long Bill Pope's been around.
Well, that was probably one of his earlier ones. He's been around for a while, but let's see. Evil Dead was 81, so he made Crime
Tim
Wave
Fillo.
right after.
It was Tim Fillo.
Yeah, I think that was
Evil
like
Dead.
one of the local guys, and a lot of them were on Evil Dead as well, and a lot of them.
The Evil Dead remake in 2013 was Aaron Morton.
So a lot of this crew that I was speaking about, they were actually working commercials and stuff when Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi were like PAs in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
And so they would show up on set, with the coffees and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why Mark, and it's like I was, always be nice
Always
to
be
the PAs,
nice to the PAs.
because 10 years later they were hiring us to work on their movies, and the next thing you know, it's
That's
Sam
amazing.
Raimi, and he's doing
I've said
Spider-
that on this show.
Yeah.
We always
you never
say
know
it.
who's going to be your boss.
And that's come true in my career too, in some ways too, as well. So yeah. Anyway.
So we've all made our first recommendation, so I think now is a good time for us to take a quick break.
Okay.
We will see you guys here in just a quick moment. I want congratulations. I have a dry windscreen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
Mine's dry every time.
in almost 50 episodes, this might be the first time I've cracked open a can and not gotten my windscreen wet.
Not one drop? I don't believe it.
Not one.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Welcome back, everyone. So we have been discussing time travel movies, and we have with us our guest, Geoff George. So Geoff, how can people get a hold of you, or is there any projects or things you have coming up that you want to kind of throw out there and talk about?
Yeah, you can follow me on my Instagram, I guess. It's GS George, at GS George, and my website, geoffgeorgedp.com, Jeff with a G, GEOFF, georgedp.com. And
it's a nice website, too. I was going
thanks.
through it. Yeah, it's a lot of cool shots that you... Beautiful, beautiful eye, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love working with you, Jeff.
Likewise, Joe. Yeah, it's been great to get to work together so much, and I take pride in a lot of the stuff been able to work on, and filmmakers I've been able to collaborate with, and shot a few features and do a lot of commercial work and stuff. And yeah, I got there's a feature in the works right now that I'm attached to DP, and it's in fundraising phase, so we'll kind of see where it goes, and I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah.
Really like the script and the filmmaker, so that's maybe a future episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back
Yeah.
around the marketing time. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Joe worked on a movie that I DP'd that came out last year. It's called Stealing Jokes, with Mike Young directing, and it was a fun experience. We had a lot of
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a good month. Yeah.
Yeah. The crew.
3 weeks, I think.
Yeah. We shot 4 weeks, and
It was 4. That's right. Yeah.
And then we did another week in LA for some other stuff that you weren't there, but
it came out really well. Working with the film, I liked it.
Thanks. Yeah, we tried to do something interesting and fun with the look and the visuals, and kind of a fun cast and script. So
yeah, and I really enjoy stand-up comedy, so it was fun for me to be a part of, and then watching it and seeing that kind of behind-the-scenes aspect of the comedy scene.
Yeah,
was
it's
nice.
a whole world. I learned a lot about it myself doing the film, and getting to know Mike Young, the director, is a stand-up comedian, and very well connected in that world. We shot at the Comedy Club and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and met a lot of his peers and colleagues and stuff, and Sebastian Maniscalco and
Maniscalco, it was. I was like, man, why couldn't I be there that day? My wife's a huge fan of Sebastian Maniscalco. We saw him at Little Caesars Arena when he came last year. Yeah.
What's with Coles? Can we talk about Coles? Their stuff is. That's my Maniscalco impression.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. You're just missing
Spot
the
on.
sweater.
And then Joe, what are your socials? How can people find you?
My at chaotic_artisan, and everywhere else says Joseph Sheldon Quick.
And you can always follow the show, and presently myself, because I still need to get my absconded Instagram back. But you can follow the show and myself at UFO Detroit, UFOstudio.Detroit. And then you can email us any questions or compliments or suggestions or titles that we missed, and get in on that conversation at our email at ufostudio.detroit@gmail.com.
And don't forget to drop us a like, a comment, or subscribe while you're here listening to us.
Yeah, and then if you want to, outfit yourself in some merch, we do have our store, the UFO Bazaar, which can be found at our website, which I will look up and give you at the end of the episode, because I didn't have that prepped. But we have a list to finish. So, Geoff, when we left off, you would be our next recommendation. So far we've got 12 Monkeys, Flight of the Navigator, and Evil Dead: Army of Darkness. So where do we go from here?
Well, I'm trying to think what would fit thematically next, but also I think I know my other two movies. Or my other three, I guess. Well, okay. I'm going to do one that it's arguable whether it is a time travel movie.
Okay.
It's maybe a little on the gray zone.
Yeah, hit me up.
But and you know, maybe this film has come up on your podcast before, but I am actually a big fan of Tenet by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, yeah.
And this whole time entropy thing. It's not quite time travel in the film.
Right.
You're moving forward in time and then you're moving backward in time.
And for that reason, it made my honorable mentions, but I would allow it. Yeah. Because I was on that same fence of like, it is technically.
It is. I would say it is because they are literally moving through time in different directions than is normal. You know?
Yeah, so, it's temporal outside of linear. Yeah.
And I just remember the first time I saw the film, I think I went to the IMAX theater. And obviously the visuals and the action sequences and stuff are crazy impressive. But I just remember being like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Like, I don't understand anything. I'm literally so lost, like, to the point where I was, like, pissed off at this movie.
Interesting.
And then, like, I got it on Blu-ray because I was like, I bet it's dope on 4K and stuff. And I watched it again, and I was kind of like, okay, this is cool. Like, I don't know if I still know what's going on. I still have no clue what's going on.
Right.
I'm into it. And then I just, like, kept thinking about it. And I was like, I'm watching it again. I'm figuring this fucking movie out. Because I was, like, so intrigued by it. And I think it was definitely one of these films that it took me many times to, like, appreciate.
Okay.
But, gosh, do I really love that film. Almost to the point where I think it's, like, one of his better films. Even though it's what a lot of people consider his worst film, probably because it is confusing and stuff. And is it a little too smart for its own good? Maybe. Yeah, that's fair argument, I would say. But, like, man, it's so interesting when you do start to unravel how this is all working. It's a really clever contemporary take on time travel narrative, which usually time travel narrative is like the solve is like there's some piece of technology that allows people to quickly jump forward or backward in time. And in this case, it's a piece of technology that has to obey these kind of weird idiosyncratic rules of quantum physics in that there's time entropy, so you can travel the other way, but it doesn't take any more or less time. Like if you want to travel back in time 3 months, you have to sit in a cargo container for 3 months and wait for it to be the date that you want to get out and then reverse the flow of time so you can now move forward in time. So anyway, I thought it was very interesting, and I hadn't seen a time travel film that had that kind of solve for time travel. Mm-hmm. And when you start to kind of unravel the twists and turns of the plot, I thought, actually, this is pretty sound. You know, like it doesn't. There was a lot of forethought put into how what is happening and
how it works
and one thing I think I didn't realize in the initial watch of the film was that several of the time sequences are like overlapping each other to the point where you even see like another version of the guy running across, but it's not just the guy in the first timeline moving forward. It's actually it's him in the future, and he's gone back again. Right. See what I'm saying? And he's seeing himself where he's going to be if he waits, and then whatever. Man, and it starts to get, it is a confusing film, but the IMAX cinematography is spectacular. The use of IMAX in general in that film is like really, really
Nolan
good.
is pretty perfect at using the IMAX. I mean, he's been utilizing it since Batman, right? I think.
Yeah, I think Dark Knight was maybe the first one.
Yeah, and I remember that being it was amazing.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Tenet yet, and because that was right around a COVID release, so I was like all amped up to go see it in theaters.
Right. Yeah, I think that hurt the film too. It was going to come out around that time.
Yeah. And then since then, it's just been more difficult to find because it's not one that's being passed around streaming services.
Oh, okay.
And generally, when it comes onto a streaming services, when I'll watch it. I'm actually really excited after hearing how you describe it because with that film, it's been either I love it or I hate it. But the fact that you explored it and saw something different, that goes back to what we were saying earlier about being able to watch a movie and get elevated experience from it. So I'm more excited to see it now. With that in mind.
And I wouldn't even say that it's like one of my absolute favorite types of films or something, or like like I was almost hesitant to bring it up on the list, but I like films that not only subvert your expectation and stuff, but maybe that you don't react to well on a first viewing and but still intrigue you enough to revisit them.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that means that the film is good. Even though my initial reaction to this film was basically like, dude, fuck you. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Forget it. I'm lost,
Yeah.
Forget trying to, like, the action sequences are cool, okay, but like I am lost. I was pissed. Yeah. And then I watched this film.
I heard that a lot.
And it's like a discovery because even I've maybe watched the film maybe 5 or 6 times or something. And every time it's definitely one of those films where you're like, oh, okay, I see.
Something new.
Like this is actually, he did that because of this, or that's him there.
So many intricacies that you can keep finding them.
And the web is very intricate with this. With this film.
That sounds amazing. So anyway, that's a great perspective on it. I enjoyed it. I did. I had to watch it a second time, but then I was like, okay, yeah. And I've only watched it 2 times. Okay. But I definitely would highly recommend it and like another visit of.
And it is presently viewable with a Prime subscription.
But I would also like to add that I think Christopher Nolan enjoys kind of confusing his audience a bit.
Oh, for sure.
I know I loved Inception first watch through, but when I watched it with my father, he was like, "What?"
I mean, Nolan, again, it's like is he a little bit too complicated for his own good? Like, possibly. That's like an argument I would say you can definitely make.
Yeah, definitely. I'm agreeing.
And he doesn't help himself with like the muffled dialogue and stuff.
Sure.
Which I also love, to be honest. Like, I love like when Spielberg has like 6 people talking at once or whatever. And like you're not really getting it, but you are. Like, you're hearing bits and pieces and enough to like tell the story. And in the case of Nolan, it's almost like an extreme because he's always putting masks in front of people's fucking faces. Yeah. I mean, poor Tom Hardy has like never even seen his face in a Christopher Nolan movie. He's in like 7 Christopher Nolan movies. Anyway, but like it's just awesome. It pisses people off when there's muffled dialogue in a Nolan film, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, something about it. I'm here for it. I like it. I get why, like, it just feels right, and the music is like so loud, and the dialogue is kind of buried, and I don't see it as a flaw. I actually see it as like an intentional choice, and one that in a way kind of pulls you in further because you're leaning in to hear, and you're paying more attention, and maybe that's the point. I don't know.
I believe it is. Yeah.
I'm not really sure if he's ever said why he does that so often and stuff, but. I mean, there are Nolan heads. I'm not really a Nolan head too. There are people out there that like him a lot more than me, but,
going back to what I appreciate about him is that he has always used super convoluted plots, like going all the way back to his first feature Following. It's low budget and indie, but it's still not a straightforward film.
Right.
And I think that we need filmmakers like him to continue to do things. Yeah. Even if they are misses, because, we do all complain all the time about the same old shit. And then when the studio puts out something new and then it doesn't do well, then they don't want to do it again. It's right. We need people who are just adamant about saying like, no, fuck you. This is what I want to do. And, he can bring in box office numbers. Yeah. And that gives the rest of us opportunities that, something can be greenlit.
Yeah. And maybe that's why that film stands out to me too, in a way. It's not a franchise thing. It was never really meant to have a sequel or whatever. It's like, it's kind of a one-off property, big movie. I mean, really expensive. It's not often a movie of that budget is getting an original idea made. Right. You know what I mean? So
and R rating, right? That was R rated.
I mean, there's so many things about maybe not R. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's a good question. I just love it. I mean, Memento when it came out.
It's PG-13. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's PG-13.
I love Memento too.
I love Memento, but it's one of those films that was a big topic of conversation at its time, and then as time has gone on, it's one of those films where like, oh, I didn't really like Memento, and like the appreciation for it as a whole has dropped off. But I think it's one of those movies where if you revisit it, there is a lot to really appreciate about what was done in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So yeah, that was a kind of a little bit of a gray area pick, I guess. But yeah, that's my next pick.
So I'm going to...
Yeah, where you going, Brad?
I'm going to piggyback off of that with another gray area. This is one where I was like, it's a really great movie. Where does it fall in the qualification of time travel? And that is 2016's Arrival.
Oh yeah.
From Denis Villeneuve. Where, and I want to describe this without spoiling it, because that was the other thing about the time, because time plays a big part in the overall plot of it. But more or less, it's a movie about aliens coming to Earth and a scientist played by, who is she? Amy Adams. I always get her and Isla Fisher, so I didn't want to say the wrong redhead. But Jeremy Renner, Amy Adams, Forrest Whitaker are in this, and it's they bring her in. The military brings her in. She's a communication specialist, I believe,
linguist or something.
Yeah, she works at a university. But the story, as it's being told, is told where you're jumping back and forth between different time periods, and how it follows her trying to communicate with these aliens and get intent and how can we help each other, or what are you doing here? But
at first it's not quite so clear when in the time are they flashbacks. At first you're like, oh, it's present,
right? And that the editing really plays with your mind as a viewer as to where in time you are presently, and then by the conclusion of the film, those answers are laid out for you, and it was so poignant and impactful that the whole story comes together, but the journey was amazing as well.
Yeah, it was.
Denis Villeneuve's choices of the grand scope of the inside of the UFOs or their presence, and then bringing it down to a smaller, more intimate interaction between her and the aliens it was fascinating. And not only did it play with the usage of time in story narrative, but it also took a different direction with the alien invasion concept.
It did. I saw this just the once, but a little while after it came out on streaming, right at home, and I really enjoyed it. But it was definitely from a different perspective, like you just said, but reminiscent of Jodie Foster in Contact.
Contact is probably the closest thing I can relate to.
It was very reminiscent of that, but a different angle, different perspective.
And it's a slow burn film. It's one of those you should...
the way it messed with the temporal...
You should sit down and be prepared for something that's going to be deep.
The temporal aspect maybe even doesn't reveal itself until the third act, maybe?
Right.
Yeah. But it is kind of in this... I would say, it's a time travel movie, because it deals with that version of time travel movie, which is more like precognition and vision and stuff. And, and you could argue that that's, if you're looking into the future, into the past, and a character is experiencing that or whatever, that to me is a version of, that's what I was saying earlier about how there are subcategories of time travel films. Yeah. And I would say that qualifies as one of those subcategories. I love Arrival. I think it's a beautiful film, and it definitely reminds me of, it's kind of a modern day Contact in a way. Yeah. It's about a female scientist who's helping, kind of understand this alien presence. And I thought it was very well done. The editing style of that film, it's very subtle. It's very Denis Villeneuve-esque, in that he's kind of a softer, even though he does these bigger movies and stuff, but even the way he did, even Prisoners to me is a very soft.
It's very soft, and he uses
gentle,
very
kind of interesting, steady paced thing.
Same with his color palettes.
Yeah.
His use of color is always more subdued than going all the way into Dune. Dune could have been something that was rich and vibrant, but he chose to not do that, and I thought it was better for it.
Yeah.
Yes. Good choice. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep that trend kind of going, because I had this one on my list and I wasn't sure what order it was gonna go in, but it fits the theme. And it's not very well known. It's 2017 sci-fi adventure Time Trap.
Time Trap. I haven't seen that one myself.
A group of students become trapped inside a mysterious cave where they discover time passes differently underground than on the surface.
Cool.
So it's a temporal anomaly in the Earth, right? And it's just the only really actor that I knew from it is Andrew Wilson, who was Beef Supreme in Idiocracy, and he was in Drew Barrymore's Whip It. He played Razor, so he's been around, but he was
cool.
He played a professor in this, and professor gets lost on a excursion, and the students go looking for him, and they find the time trap.
Interesting.
And it was one of those definitely B budget, low budget kind of like you're like. Hopefully that was done this way because of the budget.
Yeah,
like it has,
right.
but the science is there. Like,
that's cool.
Like the movie's enjoyable. It was just limited by its resources. But
sure.
I highly recommend it. It was worth the watch. I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
If it's bad, I don't watch it 3 times.
Yeah. I kind of like when low budget filmmakers take a stab at big concepts,
right?
Because a lot of times, like, they've put more thought into it in a way because it's their baby and they really want it to be good. And
there's really like there's a point where there's a caveman. There's a point where there's like a future entity that, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it goes through. Yeah, like you're in this temporal thing, and it just time keeps cycling. Like they could just.
Well, it also
like
sounds
in Futurama, where just time is cyclical.
Yeah,
we live linear, but it's cyclical.
Start over and now you pass it, go again.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was almost going to bring up one of the feature-length TV specials of Futurama on my list. Bender's Big Score is it's one of the best like time travel narratives. But to stick with your film, it sounds like, is it mostly taking place in the cave?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's like. Great,
it's almost a
quintessential one of those quintessential things. If you got a low budget movie, it should be a single location type chamber piece type film. And
the only time you leave is like when they have like memories or somebody gets pulled out of it and then has to come back.
I think indie filmmakers are often taking risks in those kinds of genres that like a bigger film wouldn't do.
Right.
Like one of my all time favorite, and it's kind of in this same. It's not quite time travel, but it. Almost reminds me a little bit of this movie that you're describing. Was Cube.
The Cube, yes.
Yeah, and Cube,
I love that movie.
1997, and again, like so smart to just like let it all take place in the cube and to reuse that set, like
just was like change the lights,
just to change the backlighting, and
that was one of my top references when we did chamber pieces.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go, yeah.
I love that movie,
and not to mention like that again because it is an indie film and. Because they did like have probably sit and with their buddy and write it for months or whatever. Yeah, like it is solid, like it's airtight, kind of like in terms of like how the story unfolds and the logic of it and everything, and that it still leaves some mystery and
this definitely has those elements.
That's cool.
Like, you're still curious of like, but what about this? But you have enough answers to where you're not asking questions about the anomaly. You're asking questions about the story and the plot.
Okay,
to direct you properly. Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Geoff.
Well, this is kind of a perfect segue. I guess I'll stick with the indie filmmaking aspect because one of my favorite time travel movies is Primer by Shane Carruth, and I think it was made for like 20,000 euro or pounds or dollars or something, or maybe it's an American film actually. I'm maybe misremembering that, but and it's one of my favorite examples. So first of all, it's about engineers who discover that they can rewind time by 3 seconds.
Okay.
But it's or something like that. It's a tiny amount of time.
Yeah.
So what they do is they actually like game the like stock market system to like to try to turn it into something where they're gonna like make money or whatever. Because what could you really do with like 3 seconds or whatever?
Right.
So anyway, what I love about it is not only that it's an indie film and that it just cleverly deals with this very big subject matter in a small way, but the technology itself is very like it just is. It's I think it's great when a film is just like kind of effortlessly. It doesn't try to make this big machine that looks like it would be this thing that you would go into and you would time travel. It's just like a little wire or something that you like put on your head, or I don't know where, or turn on.
It's two friends that are like, one of them's an electrical engineer, like an inventor, kind of, and he builds this little device that has these weird effects, and then they go on testing it, and they become obsessed with trying to figure it out.
Help me remember the plot a little bit.
Yeah, I actually had it. Yeah. I have it pulled up right here because it was going to be my fourth. So I have a backup. Don't worry. No, brilliant pick. So it's intellectual engineers Aaron and Abe, played by Shane Kurth and David Sullivan, build and sell error checking technology to help with their friend Robert and Philip. But when Aaron and Abe accidentally invent what they think is a time machine, Abe builds a version capable of transporting a human and puts the device to test. As the two friends obsess over their creation, they discover the dark consequences of their actions.
Right.
It's a very minimal film.
It's very
How much did you say you thought the budget was?
Like $20,000.
$7,000.
There you go.
Yeah, right
used,
there, $7,000 US
used
dollars.
mostly on film stock.
And the guy who played Aaron
stock. And it
was the director as well.
Yeah, and writer.
Yep.
It calls a call objects and then 11. Abe finds a proof of it. What? Why am I misremembering the stock market? Maybe that wasn't a part of it. But
maybe not.
No. I thought.
I'm sure they played with the stock market.
Yeah,
to make some money because they were poor inventors. Yeah.
And then it becomes this whole thing where there are like these like fail safes and stuff, so they don't get like caught in the loops. It's very it gets very deep on multiple. I need to rewatch it. It's probably been 20 years since I've seen it.
I remember when it was making the streaming service. Like I remember being pushed on Netflix pretty hard when it came out, and I don't know if I just didn't take the risk or didn't know enough about it to watch it. But
I took the risk as well.
It was one of those titles that I kept almost hitting play on and never did. So I wish I had.
Yeah, that happens
definitely
to me often
adding
too.
it to the list.
I think it's just also a great lesson for indie filmmakers.
It sounds fascinating in the way that, like, again, a way to take a large idea and do it
so small
in a small control. But still, send a big,
an impactful message.
Yeah.
It was well done.
And I don't think it was quite as like popular or viral as Blair Witch Project, but it does kind of remind me. I would put it in that same kind of category of films where it's like you're just kind of like, not found footage necessarily, but more like the style of filmmaking where it's like you just get your friends together and like a fucking video camera and make this movie. And if the story's good, it doesn't matter how you made it really. And now that can be done with your phone. And I think a lot of young filmmakers and clever people too that are not just young or whatever.
Yeah.
Make a movie with your phone, man. For $5K,
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't always work. It needs to be the right kind of movie, but you got to start somewhere, So
100%.
So for my next recommendation, there were two titles that, while completely different movies, kind of hit the same time travel message. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the newer one. And that's Project Almanac. And the impact that I'm talking about is the idea of, if you mess with time, you can fuck with time. Everything as it happens is, as it happened because of as things were. And so then there's like, I forget what author it was, but the butterfly effect. You step on a butterfly and it's going to ripple. And, if it wasn't intended, was that Journey to the Center of the Earth or
what?
The butterfly effect reference?
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I think it was an H.G. Wells thing. I don't know.
Okay,
but regardless, that's common in the time travel. That's the warning, right?
Yes.
And in Project Almanac, it's a found footage type of film. So everything is shot by the handheld of the characters. It follows a group of high schoolers who are a brother and a sister. The brother is highly educated and nerdy, and his father was an inventor of some sorts, but he's trying to get into I forget which college, Harvard or something.
Right.
And so he's making a thesis audition type tape to send to the school. And while making that, he comes across something in the basement that was his father's. His father is gone, had died. and it was a video camera, and he's looking at this video camera, and he sees himself now, like the age that he is now, at his 7th birthday party, and then discovers plans for a time travel machine.
Yeah,
and then his friends are like, well, obviously you can successfully build this. There's evidence right there that you were at your 7th birthday party. And so it goes through like it's a teen movie, so it goes through like what would kids do if all of a sudden they can go back in time? So manipulate the lottery or change, like everyone's got a personal motivation of what they would do if they went back in time. And then they make an agreement as a group that they'd never jump by themselves. And then,
immediately somebody jumps by themselves.
Somebody starts, right. So then things start to go awry and things go bad. Cool. And then it
sounds really cool.
It actually is.
I like very good. And when I was making my list, because this is on my honorable mentions as well, it was Primer and this that were like, they're so similar. Which one do I use? Kind of thing. Like they are very differently done, filmed in different, but the story wise, it's very similar. It's two friends and it becomes 4 friends. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So
yeah.
It's of the same realm.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
good choice.
It has a look like a Michael Bay, because it's a Michael Bay produced.
Right.
Yeah, so all of the movies that he puts his name on have that ilkin look to them, and it does. Think Transformers 2006 and on. But it was a really fun watch. It took the enjoyment of what you would do with your friends if you could time travel,
right?
But then quickly demonstrated the risks at hand, and then the choices that had to be made from there. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, so I've got quite the extensive honorable mentions list going, but to replace Primer, I'm going to go with the 2005 sci-fi thriller starring Adrian Brody, The Jacket.
Oh.
Right.
I've heard of this film, but I haven't seen it, actually.
Amnesiac Gulf War veteran Jack Starks, played by Adrian Brody, can't explain why he's been found at the scene of a murder. Ordered to a mental hospital, Jack is subjected to Dr. Thomas Becker's, played by Chris Christopherson's, unusual treatment plan, which involves mysterious injections, sensory deprivation, and confinement in a straitjacket. Locked away on his own, Jack discovers he can travel to the future, where he's compelled to help a one-time acquaintance, played by Keira Knightley, and investigate his own odd fate.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I love Adrian Brody. This was kind of like his when he was cool.
Yeah.
He's a little cringy now, but yeah.
Yeah, the top of his game.
Yeah, that's a hot point for Keira Knightley too. That was when she was banging out.
And this was I don't know how well it did, but I didn't have a lot of people talking about it when it came out.
Yeah,
but me and my wife loved it.
I definitely missed this.
I missed this for sure at the time. I think I heard of it years later. Interestingly, it's got a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which I feel like is really high for a film from 2005. I don't know.
I saw it and instantly loved it, and
cool.
I've been an advocate for this movie since its creation. It's so good. It's eerie, it's weird, it's creepy. You feel all of it.
Interesting.
Grimy texture, the lighting. Yeah.
2005 was a year that seemed to have a lot of good creepiness.
If you're claustrophobic, approach with caution.
Well, Peter Deming was the DP, and he was actually the DP on Evil Dead 2. And,
nice.
And he did a lot of the.
What can I say? I've got a style.
Yeah,
I like what I like.
he was DP on a lot of David Lynch's films.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it looks good. Yeah. And it always helps when a movie looks good too. You know.
So good. Right.
Yeah. I worked with Adrian Brody.
I mean, obviously, I think it's very important. It's literally what I do is work on the look.
What did you work with him on?
I was a camera PA on this movie called High School.
Oh, no
going
kidding.
Way back in 2000.
Oh, nice.
And he played a super stoner pothead drug dealer guy.
It
was the weirdest fucking movie I've ever. I mean, it was like the first movie, one of the first, huge or whatever, bigger budget movies I worked on.
Very cool.
And I just remember being in lunch line with Adrian Brody, and they were serving chicken like every day. and he was like, and he turned to me and he was like, chicken, everyday chicken. He's like, you eat so much chicken, I'm going to turn into a chicken.
Well,
that's all I. That
I
was
would
the extent
love to see that impression.
That was the extent of my conversation with Adrian Brody.
That is hilarious.
Jeff.
And then he was also really good at rolling the prop joints in the movie.
Oh, really?
Like, somebody.
Yeah. Well, he knew what he was going to be doing, so he practiced beforehand.
That was 4, wasn't it?
What's that?
That was all 4.
Oh, did I do all 4?
No, I've only got 9 on the list.
Who's next?
Oh, it's 9? Okay.
Yeah.
That's you then.
Jeff is next.
I got another
This
one.
is honestly tough because, I mean, what do I do?
Right. So
Should I name some honorable mentions first, maybe?
no, I think so. Like we're not ranking anything, so nothing here is like in order of importance or
how great it is.
yeah.
Or
So
whatever. Yeah.
like if there's a movie that's because my next pick is just going to be like a fun thing, right? Like it's not making waves in Hollywood as far as history goes, but a worthwhile watch.
Well, there's so many to mention. I wrote down quite a few here.
I've got almost 20, so I feel
I'm gonna go with. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go with Run Lola Run.
Okay.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Which do you want me to like read the synopsis or something? Should I be doing
it's
that
not long.
anyway?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
If it helps.
Here it is. I got it. Lola has 20 minutes to get money to save her boyfriend. The film presents 3 different parallel runs where events unfold differently. So it's like it's not quite a time travel movie, but it's a time looping.
Yeah.
And it's done very well. And the soundtrack is amazing, and the energy and editing of the film is great. And it's early 2000. It just like is again. It kind of embodies that era a little bit.
Yeah, it's 98.
98, late 90s. Wow. Okay, yeah, it was a little earlier than I thought.
Yeah, I remember it was a German art house.
Kind of a German art house film, but I remember it was super influential on like what I like my like cinematography and shot choice and stuff like that too, because it was very well shot and edited, and this kind of idea of time travel giving you second chances and being able to redo something that didn't work out or whatever. And so it kind of explores that a little bit, and it's a very clever film, and it's at the same time it's very indie and very German and indie,
Yeah, I love it.
And art housey and stuff, and so and I think it would like if it came up on the dice or whatever, it would be a good watch for someone. Hopefully it doesn't go to Tenet, and I need to, and then somebody's watching Tenet and like fuck this Geoff George guy.
I'm crossing my fingers for Tenet so I can finally see it. But this one wouldn't be a bad one either because, embarrassingly, admittedly, I've not seen Run Lola Run. But here's the thing: I have the DVD. Someone gave it to me to watch, and
it's one of those DVDs.
Just not watched it. I know I should watch it, and I have no specific reason as to why I've not watched it.
Right.
I just haven't.
It's just one of those films you never got to. And I know that feeling. And also, I feel like everybody, for some reason, had Run Lola Run on DVD in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was about that movie, and props to whoever was the distribution team behind that film or whatever. I'm sure they made so much money on DVD sales, for this probably little movie, movie out of all of the movies from Germany or whatever. It's like it's one of those, but it's because it was good, very original, and I haven't seen a film like that before or since, so it stood out to me. But I have honorable mentions that I know like are more obvious choices that I was tempted to say. So I don't know when you want to do it.
I like that you brought in another genre of time travel too, time looping, because I was so into doing that myself.
And I didn't. Then that's the genre that I was mentioning earlier.
I like when the guests take the liberties.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
I take enough liberties
because you do. But I personally didn't think about the time loops at all because I didn't know how anyone else felt about it.
Right.
And so that I struggled with that, and that squished my list down because I didn't end up including all of them, any of them at all. I'm
like whatever. Yeah, somebody say the word time in a movie, then it's a time travel movie. No, I
mean, there are arguably more time looping movies than time travel movies.
Looper,
right?
Yep. Maybe I'm not supposed to say movies until you guys are done. I don't know yet.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So
that one's on my honorable mentions too. Yeah.
As promised, I'm going to go with like a fun route on this one. This one's not a movie that is like on.
Yeah, go for it.
scholastic lists of any kind.
Yeah.
But the way that it was done and utilized in the story, I thought was an incredible way to breathe life into what I thought was a tired IP, and that's Men in Black 3.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
That's actually my favorite Men in Black.
It really
Josh
is.
Brolin as
Josh Brolin
as Tommy
Your
Lee.
favorite Men in Black?
Yeah, I mean, those are words,
I
right?
don't know
Those
about
are words.
but Men in Black 1
Men in Black
one of
one
the
is
best
great. It is
movies
amazing,
ever.
yeah.
Okay,
Men in
no,
Black
but
one is
I do agree that Men in Black 3 is worth a mention because it is cool. I like Men in Black 3.
Yeah, I
didn't
thought
dislike Men in Black 3.
I mean, as was proven by the last one, which I definitely didn't see, but it didn't do very well from what I understand. It's just kind of an exhausting, like, okay, the secret and the aliens, like, how can we do differently? But to go back in time and have that whole, he meets his partner from forever
and he's
ago.
like, you work with all these aliens.
Yeah.
I remember that scene, yeah.
It was super cool to like... I think it helps that Josh Brolin like nailed Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Had that not worked, the whole movie would have been
That was my
shit.
favorite part. Yeah, well, that and Bill Hader as undercover MIB as Andy Warhol. I mean, so good.
But yeah, I think Men in Black 3 is, if you were a viewer of the series and you were just exhausted like I was, I still think Men in Black 3 is, if you've avoided it, worth taking a look at because it does breathe a new life into the whole franchise with a new idea. You know, let's mix aliens and time travel and see what the fuck happens with it.
Yeah, cool. I like it. That was a fun choice.
It was good. Yeah, it's a great movie.
All right, Joe, close us out.
Okay, so again, so many honorable mentions, but I feel like we did good with box office, big box office. We did good with indie.
Got some art.
I'm gonna go back down silly, and I'm gonna go one of my favorites as a young man, 1991's action adventure, Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm into it. Tell us about it.
The main character is Dar, and you get to know his. You have to watch the first one. Anyway, no, you don't.
By the way, the full title is Through the Portal of Time.
Through the Portal of Time. Yes. So prehistoric Dar, played by Mark Singer, goes by time warp to modern day Los Angeles to smite his laser-equipped long lost brother, played by Wings Hauser.
Hell yeah, this sounds awesome.
It's just ridiculous incarnate.
Yeah,
it's so fun. Like, and especially the original Beastmaster is like it's prehistoric, right? Like so this is a guy who communicates with beasts. Like he talks to animals. He has a pet ferret, a pet hawk, and like he can like see through the eyes of the animals. Like
he's a shaman or something,
and he lives in this like prehistoric world and. Like he tries to save his village that he was shunned from as a baby, right? He was the chosen one. That's the first movie. The second movie has almost nothing to do with that.
They were just like, take this guy and put him in
L.A.
Yeah.
What's
in
hilarious?
the 80s, right?
Yeah.
It's 91.
Let's say it was hilarious.
But it's basically 1988, brother.
Beastmaster was done in 82.
Yeah.
And it's a Don Coscarelli. The fact that it's 10 years later before they go for a high concept sequel is bonkers to me.
One of my favorite things, dude. It's so ridiculous.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh my God. I'm recently trying to, getting into the exploring Tubi was a wonderful thing for me.
Tubi.
Because it's, your streaming services that you pay for are great, but they really just give you like the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And if you want to like really stir up the Nesquik and see what the fuck is down there.
Yeah.
Some 6.1s out of 10.
But yeah,
They're on Tubi,
this might not. Is this available anywhere?
On Prime.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I brought Tubi up because I totally thought it was going to be.
I thought it would
because
have been a Tubi movie.
I've been scrubbing through trying to watch old 80s sword and sorcery movies to just kind of catch up to because it's like one of those. None of them are good. And you can tell that the filmmakers must obviously be aware that they're not making good movies.
And yet, like their version of downtown
they're trying
LA
their hardest, though.
The Valley.
Yeah,
there was one.
What's the quintessential like Conan the Barbarian or something?
Yeah, I would say Conan's probably Conan or Conan was
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, probably Conan. I know there's another one I'm not thinking. It was probably Beastmaster, honestly. But there's
Beastmaster
sorcery.
was definitely made off of the back of Conan. People like these. Yeah, there was sorcery.
Is it Three Swords? Like Lucio Fulci has one. Like, it was just there's a whole plethora of straight to video brilliance in the 80s where, I'm sure Roger Corman's probably got it ass load because they would just reuse sets. Most of the costuming was just half naked people, and then they would just bring in like buff models, Playboy girls, and blow shit up. And it's like, fuck it, let's do it.
It's amazing that they made so many of those. Like, who is watching that?
Like, I don't even over. Like, I never knew this. There's a Beastmaster 3, The Eye of Braxis.
I know what Joe's doing tonight.
Yeah, buddy. Like, come on. I didn't even know this. And surprisingly, it's still Mark Singer. Like, the Beastmaster's the same guy.
The same guy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Because so often on the third one.
And what year is the third one? Did they wait less time, or is that
1996?
No, they waited
96.
long. Yeah.
They waited half the time. Yeah. But it definitely looks equally worse, right?
Well, we've got a good list here today. I'm going to read down the list, and then Joe, where's that? Or is that magic die? Sir. That is how we're going to choose.
Do we talk about our honorable mentions at all? Okay,
we will.
All right.
Yep. So we're going to choose.
I'm rolling this.
Yeah. You are. So much responsibility. So I'm going to go down the list. The movies that we mentioned tonight are 12 Monkeys, Flight of the Navigator, Evil Dead: Army of Darkness, Tenet, Arrival, Time Trap, Primer, Project Almanac, The Jacket, Run Lola Run, Men in Black 3, and Beastmaster 2. We literally hit the gamut of...
Yeah, that's all over.
We went all over.
That's cool. Spectrum. That's a great...
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. Like, I like making a varied list, So, Geoff, you can go ahead and give that a die roll.
Here we go. 11.
Number 11. Men in Black 3.
It sure is. But I kind of... Here's the thing. It's a great movie, but I feel like there's so many on here. I'm gonna call for an audible. Let's go. Let's give it an audible. Okay?
All right.
Are you okay with that?
This ain't the first time. Yeah, let's do it. Only because I watched that last month.
3 is... So I think we talked about these so much. We have to have a viewing of this on here. That's Army of Darkness.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
That's also a great movie to talk about with a guest.
Yeah,
especially
hopefully
the guest has never seen it.
And if they've never seen it before. And what's great is even though it's a third movie, there's no reason. The very first Evil Dead movie I saw was Army of Darkness. There's no reason. I
think it was for me as well.
You don't need to see him. Like it's pretty. It explains itself. You get what's going on.
And it's a standalone thing.
The best thing that can happen is you go back and watch the others.
I found in the wild on my own, but by happenstance of a cool uncle, I did see the original.
But I definitely think you can watch Army of Darkness on its own, and because it starts with Ash in the grocery store, it
gives you a little backstory.
Plucks him out of the thing, and it does explain the backstory and stuff a little bit too, and all that stuff. So
Evil Dead: Army of Darkness. So what didn't make the list, guys? So Geoff,
so many, to be honest, that I was so felt like almost were better choices than some of the stuff that I picked. But I'm gonna say the subgenre that I wanted to come. I was curious if it would come up with any of you guys. Did it come up with it? Kind of. But there is a specific subgenre of time travel movies that I really like, which is this suspended animation. Is taking someone into the future. So Idiocracy, like someone falls asleep.
Yeah,
Rip Van Winkle, the classic story of Rip Van Winkle, or
Somewhere in Time.
Yeah,
Christopher Reeves, where he hypnotizes himself to go back in time.
Well, that's going back. I'm talking about when you fall asleep in the present and time moves on without you, and then you wake up. And honestly, Austin Powers is kind of in there.
You know what?
But Demolition Man.
I thought someone might, but
Sleeper. I have a couple.
You talking about the Woody Allen Sleeper?
The Woody Allen Sleeper. Yeah,
Free Jack. I guess Free Jack's not. They don't freeze him, so.
And there's kind of this subgenre, and those were some of the. I mentioned some of them, but did I have another? No, not really. But like where someone has to be put to sleep in the present and wake up in the future. And
right.
Idiocracy to me is just a great fun film.
It's one of my favorite Mike Judges.
It's actually made a few lists, so I intentionally didn't. Like, had you mentioned it would have been great, but it was one that we actually did end up watching and talked about. Introduced it to somebody who hadn't seen it. It's repeatedly enjoyable.
And they were refreshingly disturbed at how eerily accurate it was for how old it is. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I just got Demolition Man on 4K Blu-ray. I was watching it the other day, and
that's a good one.
It's so ridiculous.
It's peak of its time period.
But I just love I love a movie that its vision of the future is not only radically off from what the actual future was, but because Demolition Man is like 88 or I don't know, I can't remember. No, it's 90 or it's 90. 96. It's mid 90s maybe.
It's mid 90s.
Yeah. So anyway, middle school. So 96. Then it like goes forward to 2036 or something, and it's like it's like close. Yeah, it is getting close.
We got to be careful.
And it's like, damn, if only 2036 really did look like this.
I loved how it was so direct opposition of dystopian, like every other movie it. But then it
its
showed
own version of dystopia.
It showed you that dystopia is still there. It's just in the sewer.
Right? Well, but also that super clean world that Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes fast forward to, because the idea is they're put to sleep and then they wake up in this future that has no crime. And
no cussing.
And no sex. You're not allowed to swear. The thing comes out of that. You can't even put salt on your food because salt's not good for you or whatever. Yeah. That's what they say in the movie.
Yeah, they end up being they're like a virus that gets injected into like a clean environment.
Yeah. But truthfully, like, even though that is a quote unquote utopia of this perfect, crime-free world, that is a dystopia, because when Sylvester Stallone goes into that, he's like, "Fuck this, dude! This is insane." Yeah. So anyway, I
was good at kissing,
and
fuel exchanges are illegal.
One of my other honorable mentions, and again, this is I loved this movie, The Philadelphia Experiment, when I was a kid, because I was like super in 1984. Has some, I just remember this like scene where they transport this ship and the guys are coming out of the wall or whatever. Yeah. And that's like, and then you end up learning that that's based off of like, it's not a true story. It's just like a rumor or whatever, but it's in the UFO like lore. Yes. And so that led me down that path, which I thought was pretty cool. But Minority Report is one of my all-time favorites.
So how did I'm trying to remember how that. Are you talking about because of the cognition and the seeing ahead? Because I saw that come up when I typed it in, and I was like, time travel.
Seeing into
precognition. It's not quite time travel. It's a gray area time, but you're taking advantage of seeing into the future to affect the future. Right. So you're seeing into the future.
In effect, changing time.
That's true. That's true.
So, and in effect, changing time. So, and changing consequences. You're arresting someone before they've committed that crime.
Right.
So they never actually killed someone. So you're going in and intervening and saying you're under arrest for the future murder of so-and-so, but they haven't committed murder. And you're intervening to them prevents them from committing the murder. So then they didn't commit the murder. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it deals with the paradoxes of time travel in a way, but
that's interesting.
Precognition,
Because you're right. I mean, like the whole motivation of Tom Cruise's character is to prove that what they say isn't what he could, or maybe it is, and he's got it. So that it's a whole different way of introducing that paradox.
And actually, Tom Cruise's whole journey in the film is only set off because of this supposed crime that he committed. But the supposed crime that he commits is actually not a crime, right? It's just what the precogs saw, which only happens because he's like running from the police.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So like him running from the police like triggers the incident that he's going to get arrested. But he would have never committed the incident if the police never started coming after him, if they had never had a precognition of him committing a supposed crime, which he didn't commit. See what I'm saying? So so then, to me, it's a brilliant
And it was all
film.
because one guy murdered somebody a second time the same way he murdered somebody else.
Right.
And they covered it up through that.
Right, exactly.
Because she was like, well,
They
had
staged another crime.
Yeah,
to
because
look
they're like, we've already had this. Oh, it's just a repeat. And they're like, they don't repeat.
They thought it was
and
a
then
repeat,
he found an
but
anomaly
he
in it.
Actually realized it's a whole new murder. And anyway, it's a great film. And it's brilliantly shot by Janusz Kaminski. It's so good. I love the overexposed highlights and the crazy like backlight and stuff.
My favorite sequence and set piece is when he hides away in the apartment after his eye surgery.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah, so good. And those that terrifying stuff of the little crawlers that come to skin his eye. So good. And so much of that film, it's Spielberg just like going right into like his love of sci-fi films too.
Yeah.
I think I see a lot of Blade Runner in that film.
Yeah.
I even see some of this Gilliam stuff we're talking about, like Brazil and things like that are in this movie.
Apartment sequence alone has very heavy 12 Monkey vibes as far as the set decor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love the rips. So like, there's no billboards; they just blast it in your face.
Oh yeah,
your retina.
And not only that, but
there's facial recognition.
The ads themselves are recognizing you. Which I mean, cell phones.
That's not all that far from now to
far off.
Yeah.
I coincidentally just recently listened to the short story Minority Report, and it's fascinating.
Cool. Yeah.
The similarities.
I think it's a Philip K. Dick story. Yeah. Who has provided probably some of the best material for sci-fi films.
So many.
Yeah.
All right. So the things that you're not next. I'm next.
Oh, that's
right. So the ones that didn't make my list are there's only a couple, but the one that I was wavering between when I brought up Project Almanac was Butterfly Effect, which I think is a great movie, better than a lot of people give it credit for, but it also shares that like the super negative side and demonstrates it a bit differently than Project Almanac does. And I love that it has multiple endings that can be referenced. So, a movie like that is perfect to have like not a real ending, I think.
Sure.
Hot Tub Time Machine, I think, is just a brilliant, for me, like it fits our topic of conversation because of the time travel. But the reason I love the movie and recommend it is because it's so perfectly adapts the 80s culture of the 80s movies. Like it hits
it does.
That old...
Well, I mean, who better to do it than John Cusack? He's in so many of them.
Right. Right. And then I opted not to go with Interstellar because we had Tenet on there. And its connection to time is very similar to Arrival, in the sense that it's just like the circular temporal nature of time. And then lastly, the only reason I did this is a great movie, and the only reason I didn't put it on the list is because I feel like just it's The Godfather or whatever. But the very first Terminator. We all talk about Terminator 2, but I think Terminator is probably, I'll make an assumption of like newer viewers, newer movie watchers, is probably slept on. 2 is probably where everyone goes to, because everyone tells them to go watch 2. Terminator 1 it's a horror slasher movie hidden as a sci-fi piece.
Yeah, exactly right. It's one of the few combo genre. That's what was so brilliant about it. Actually, is it was thriller and action and horror in a way too.
A whole different, Arnold Schwarzenegger, while playing literally the same character, because Arnold's capable of doing what Arnold is capable of doing, but it's still somehow different enough that like you get something different out of Terminator 1 than you get out of Terminator 2.
I 100% agree. And it's a bit grittier, and I love Terminator. And it's the way that the Terminator series in general deals with time paradox, I think, is very cool. It's kind of in this like it's fated type of way, but the time overlapping itself is part of the fate, It's not really changing the fate. It's what leads you to...
It's already been proven.
Right.
Yeah, so, and that's like Sarah Connor's speech at the end or whatever, it's like... So, anyway, I'm not going to try to recite her speech. But speaking of Hot Tub Time Machine, I saw the director's new film, which is coming out shortly, but it's called Terrestrial, and I saw it at Fantasia Film Festival, which I was at a couple last weekend. Okay. Because my friend John Clark made a movie called Love Machine that was a short film that played in front of Terrestrial, and Terrestrial was really good.
Interesting.
And so keep an eye out for the director of Hot Tub. His name is Steve Pink, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And he wrote High Fidelity and Grosse Pointe Blank.
Oh, okay.
And that's why John
that makes all the sense.
I just recommend Grosse Pointe Lake to him last week.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. It's called Terrestrial, and it's about this like struggling writer in LA who goes to extreme measures to be liked by his friends.
Very cool.
And his hero writer. And the guy who was in Ted Lasso, who plays like the kind of quiet coach, was in the film. And well done. Cool film.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Cool kind of
I'm looking at it now to see if I can find a release of any kind. Release date July 20th in Canada, so that's probably that matches the date.
Okay, that I was at.
no actual.
I don't know
actual
if they have actual.
They might not have distribution yet.
I don't think they do. I think this was literally the world premiere. Was at this.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
Okay, Terrestrial.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
Okay.
This better be really good because you've been shaking your foot over there like you just got. News for
it's
us.
just a lot of movies. So I'm just gonna. We've been at it a while. So A Sound of Thunder, Camp Slaughter,
a horror movie time travel.
Yeah, Free Jack.
Free Jack.
I have been almost watching Free Jack
Emilio Estevez
for the last several months.
Mick Jagger.
I just didn't know it was about time travel. I knew it was a future thing, but
obviously Groundhog Day, right? That was going to be my time loop representation, but I decided not to. And then Pleasantville, which I don't know if it's really time.
I had Pleasantville on my list.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Pleasantville on my list.
They go back in a time period, but it's into a TV show.
Well,
so it's
I call it genre-bending time travel. I would say, and in a way, Groundhog Day is too. In a way, too, it's a time loop thing, a time loop genre. Yeah, so I like those choices. I had Pleasantville on there because it was influential to me as a young filmmaker. I thought it was really cool. Yeah,
I love.
It'd be interesting to revisit. I haven't seen
Jeff Daniels' character in that was just amazing.
I wonder if it holds up.
It does. I just rewatched it.
It does?
Yeah,
all right.
Like about a year ago.
Yeah, okay.
Worth it. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Obviously,
of course.
yeah.
Looper.
I mentioned Looper, which I love Looper. I think it's really
so
well
good.
done.
Yeah, I love Paul Dano's character in it. And so good. What else we got?
Clean.
I had 12 Monkeys and Primer on mine, as well as Project Almanac. But Synchronic, if you've not seen this, it's Anthony Mackie, and it's where like a drug takes you back in time.
Oh, no kidding.
Interesting.
In the same spot you're at, right? So
that's kind of interesting.
It was something different. And then one from Netflix that was fairly recent was Mark Ruffalo and Ryan Reynolds, The Adam Project.
The Adam Project. Yeah. That's a fun one.
I haven't seen
that.
So
with you guys mentioning or discussing Pleasantville, it brings up another title that I had passed and I enjoyed, but I wasn't sure if it would really hit what we were talking about. But we're at the end of the conversation, so I'm going to bring it up because it does loosely fit. But that's the 2020. But Olivia Wilde's "Don't Worry, Darling."
Oh, okay, I didn't see that. I heard a lot about it.
Highly recommend it.
Really?
It got shot on. It got shot on. So it, I don't remember how it tells you the viewer, but it's one of those situations where it's a 1950s like Stepford Wives type of situation.
Okay.
And because I don't remember how. Oh yeah, it's in the trailer. Okay, so there is.
It's like it's actually present day or something.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to ruin any more than that.
Okay.
What was it called again?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't Worry, Darling.
It's got Florence Pugh, Olivia Wilde, and that singer guy Harry Styles, and Chris Pine, and it's.
I mean, you should have stopped before Chris Pine. You had me sold, but now I'm questioning your. No,
it's got Nick Kroll. It's got Nick Kroll. Is it back on? Back on?
I'll check it out. I it kind of reminds me of. Yeah, I mean, it depends on when the reveal is, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's
because you could say,
again, I don't remember the reveal, so I don't even want to make a comparison and completely ruin it because I don't know what most people didn't like about it because it fared like it was like a so-so tepid temperature when it came out. But I was like, I just gotta watch it. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And it was nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. It's very enjoyable. It's a psychological.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like those.
And Florence Pugh is such a good actress and she runs the show on that.
I'll watch Olivia Wilde.
I'll watch it with Amy because she's a Harry. She likes Harry, probably.
There you go.
I'm guessing. I don't know. Probably. There's probably some guy in there that she likes. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's our show for today. We're going to be watching Evil Dead: Army of Darkness at the top of our show next week. I want to thank Geoff again for coming in and taking the time to talk movies with us. One more time.
Such a good list.
Yeah, it really is. One more time, our list is going to be 12 Monkeys, Flight of the Navigator, Evil Dead, Tenet, Arrival, Time Trap, Primer, Project Almanac, The Jacket, Run Lola Run, Men in Black 3, and Beastmaster 2. Geoff, what was your website again?
JeoffGeorgeDP.com and at GSGeorge on Instagram.
And Joe?
At chaotic_artisan on the gram. And also look up anything I've done on IMDb at Joseph Sheldon Quick.
And you can visit the show at ufpodcast.podbean.com. And that is the link where you can follow and find our stores. So if you are so inclined to pick up a t-shirt or a cup, or sticker or anything to support the show, that's where you'd find it. You can also follow me and the show at ufostudio.detroit on Instagram, and you can email us at ufostudio.detroit@gmail.com. And we really love to hear your feedback. So tell us a little bit about what you thought about today's episode, and what were some titles that, even with our extensive conversation, we might have missed.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the titles that we did have on? And have you watched any of the titles that we've recommended recently? Let us know what your thoughts are on that. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you next time.
Boom, boom, boom.